drop what you're doing and pay attention because Jarret's here, unless what you're doing is, of course, listening to us, in which case, keep doing it. Hi, mate.
Do not pause. Good. How you guys doing?
Good, mate.
Good.
Excellent. Well, it's good to be back with you this week. Last week, obviously, I was reporting remotely from Queensland. And I know that technically during daylight savings, they're an hour behind, but it appears that I was a week ahead when I was in Queensland because I told everybody that Guardians was coming out last week and now it's actually this week. So now we can actually commiserate the loss of Disney as a physical distributor locally.
But can I say that just looking at your complexion there, it doesn't look like you've been in Queensland at all, mate.
I know. I spent a lot of time indoors. Yeah, I know. I go figure. I would have loved to have been outside, but my sister held me captive playing Switch most of the time. God bless her. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, she has a lot of those Switch games that are like 50 games in one. And so she can always go, come on, just one more game. And I'm like, I think we've played 47 of them. But she has multiple of those. So I think I probably played close to 300 games over the course of a few days of staying at her place. But yeah,
didn't she put like a moratorium on what you're allowed to watch?
Yeah, we watched one. Like, here's the thing. I stayed at my mum's for a few days, so I watched a few screeners for Monster Fest. I tried to choose ones that would be to her sensibilities, nothing too outrageous. And then when it came time to watch something at my sister's place, I looked through the list and I would read the synopsis to her, and she's like, no. Then when we'd agree upon one, I'd get it ready, and either the screener had expired or required a password I didn't have. And then ultimately we settled on one, and in 15 minutes she said to me, no, I don't know, can you choose another one? I said, well, not really. This is the last one, and I'm sort of invested. It's
That's right. We've started.
And so we saw it through, and thankfully it was a really bizarre movie. So I enjoyed it, and I think she enjoyed elements of it. I think every now and again she would say, was that? And I go, yep, that's exactly what it was. A three-legged dog. But so anyway, yeah, it was good times. But of course, yes, I did reveal that Guardians was coming out last week. It's out this week. I've already spoken about it, but I will tell you about some other titles that are coming out this week. And unfortunately, they are on the inferior format. They are in SD and they are only on DVD. And as far as I know, they don't actually have any special features on them. So go figure. But anyway, Umbrella Entertainment are releasing Malum. I think that's how it's pronounced, which is like a redo of Last Shift, which we released at Monster Pictures back in the day. This one's a slightly bigger budgeted exercise, but sadly it seems to have, it got pretty reasonable reviews, and it just premiered like maybe 2 months ago, but it's been rushed to VOD overseas, so subsequently Umbrella's rushed it to DVD here.
Got a very dark, sinister cover, doesn't it?
It totally does. It's sort of reminiscent. I don't know. It kind of looks like that Dark. What's his name? Dark Lord Sith. What's that guy from that was Dark Maul? Yes, yeah. From the Star Wars Phantom Menace, the one that everyone was excited to see, and then he gets cut down like in a matter of minutes. And you're like, what the fuck? Anyway, that one's coming out on Home Entertainment, and then of course Lucky McKee's Old Man is coming out, which I watched last year because we were looking at programming it for the festival. I think when maybe another distributor was attached at the time, and it's a terrific film. And I understand that you're speaking with Lucky on this podcast.
Yeah, well, he's on this episode, and on Thursday night, the video of that conversation will drop onto the socials too. So check it out, people.
Looking forward to having a listen to old Lucky McKee. So that's it in terms of Umbrella, but there is one other distributor that's putting something out on Home Entertainment this week, and again, it's on that filthy format DVD. It is The Flood, which I have not seen, but I'm very keen to see because it sounds like Bait 3D, where you had the shark in the supermarket. This time you've got like alligators in a jailhouse. So yeah, it sounds like a bit of fun. No doubt the CGI is going to be pretty hokey, but I'm in for the premise. So I'll definitely check it out.
You know that movie's going to be fantastic when the headlining cast are Casper Van Dien and Australia's own Nicky Whelan.
Yes, absolutely. When I put the article together for the Monster Fest site, I think they had maybe Starship Troopers after Casper Van Dien. So I was like, no, Mad Heidi. That's the movie. We're going to hyperlink that. Buy a copy.
Not Starship Troopers 3?
No, yeah. Was that the Marauders or something like that?
Something like that.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Before you move on, what behind you, for the benefit of people watching the video of this, what format are we looking at on those shelves?
That's the filthy DVD.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got that as your backdrop.
It does get smaller by the week as something slowly makes its way to Blu-ray or DVD. For instance, I just updated Netherworld, which is a
nice.
terrific film directed by David Schmoller, who directed
I love all those
Tourist Trap.
Love all those
Full
covers.
Moon, yeah.
the
and it's
full moon
great
covers are
art. Artwork's infinitely better than the film, let's face it, but it's still a pretty cool film. But yeah, just upgraded to Blu-ray, so that one's going on the stack of things to sell on eBay. But not everything. Like, I was looking at something the other day on the shelf, I can't remember what it was, and I was like, it's just got released on Blu-ray, and I was thinking, yeah, I should upgrade that. And then I'm like, you know what, I don't think I've watched this DVD for a decade, and am I really going to watch the Blu-ray instantly? I would file it away instantly because I've seen it and clearly I wanted it. Won't go in the cupboard of shame. But yeah, the DVD section, I'd say at least about half of those titles are titles that have not made it to high def yet, on a physical format. But yeah, and then there's some films that you just would never I probably never upgrade Dr. Dolittle 1 and 2 to Blu-ray. I mean, I love them because Norm Macdonald voices the dog, and they're actually pretty good films, but I don't really need them in high definition. And admittedly, again, I have not watched them for over a decade. Yeah. And I obviously felt compelled to import Dr. Dolittle 2 when it came out. Not sure why. I knew that was going to get a local release. But admittedly, in this day and age, it wouldn't, because it's 20th Century Fox, which is, proprietary of Disney, and like I said last week, they're not releasing any more physical titles in the local marketplace. But I did notice that Sanity have started listing pre-orders for the US releases of upcoming Disney titles, like the live action Little Mermaid. So I imagine we'll see them list Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny as well. So I wonder if other retailers will follow suit and start stocking import copies, and if they do, where does it begin and end? Does it mean that they'll start importing titles that, say, boutique labels are doing over here? And, and how's that going to be for the local market? It kind of goes back to those parallel importing days of CDs and when that kind of became a big thing in the 90s. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how that'll sort of go. And plus, the price points are quite expensive. Like, the Blu-ray alone is listed at about $58. And we know that if you wait probably a week of release, you'll probably pick it up on Amazon for maybe $40, $45. So it's a dangerous field to play in, because obviously they're not going to get those buys that Amazon would get. So, yeah, but it'll be interesting how it transpires. But I do have some news, and this one is hot off the press. I'm really excited. Ben, you're going to be excited. The Wicker Man is going to get released on 4K in Australia. It's definitely happening, and it's happening October 11th, the same date as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago for Ghost Dog, Cutthroat Island, U571, and a couple other titles. Yeah, so it's going to happen locally, which is interesting, given that Studio Canal have sub-licensed the film to Imprint, who put out that really flash box set. So obviously they've kept the 4K rights aside, and they're going to do their own 4K release.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think they may have just limited to the number of units.
It's true, yeah, because they haven't done a standard edition yet. True, yeah. And it is completely sold out and going for an absolute fortune on eBay. And I can't tell you whether or not the local release is going to have any additional discs. It could very well be a single disc release with, say, just the final cut or the theatrical or whatever cut they're deciding to put on it, because Studio Canal have pared back. They're not doing any of those deluxe. No, none of those deluxe stuff that we see in the UK. And typically we're only getting one disc, like with Brotherhood of the Wolf. So we only got the director's cut, not the theatrical. So if you're only after, maybe one cut of the movie or none of the special features, it's going to be fine, and it's going to retail probably for around $25 to $30. But of course, yes, the Fancy Pants UK box set is the one I'll be picking up, because I want it all. I want it all, even the, yeah.
Every edition, I played the soundtrack, funnily enough, by coincidence on vinyl, and I've got it twice. I've got the soundtrack twice, two different releases of it. The songs are exactly the same. I mean, on
vinyl, you've got two LPs of it. Oh man, and you've got the CD covers of it as well inside the Imprint box set.
And it's on Spotify. I can listen to the music for free.
Of course, it sounds like you need to quadruple dip and get another copy of the Wicker Man. I can't guarantee it's going to come with the soundtrack, but there'll be at least. Actually, there's going to be that Summer Isle documentary, which I'm really keen to check out. Which, as far as I know, is still in post-production, so that's going to be an exciting addition to this release. But anyway, other news in terms of another release that's hitting home entertainment that I'm kind of excited about, hasn't even opened theatrically yet. In fact, it opens theatrically August 17th. Bit of a scoop on the release date, November 22nd, Strays is coming out on Blu-ray and DVD.
Nice.
And this has got to be one of my most anticipated films of the year. Like, and the latest trailer that dropped that had Dennis Quaid pop up in it.
Yeah, I know.
It's like you know, that's what is it? Some strange shit. And I'm Dennis Quaid, and I've seen some strange shit. Something like that. The fact that you're putting Dennis Quaid in, it's great because he's obviously been in all those A Dog's Purpose, A Dog's Life, and whatever the other one was. Lately. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yes, there was one on Amazon recently. Had a great poster, and then I watched the trailer, and I was a bit like,
I was really.
I love Dennis Quaid, but not that much.
I was looking forward to doing a round table with the cast of this, but now the strike has happened. It all fell to shit.
Yeah, that would have been phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh
man.
The funny thing is, I'm pretty sure, and Glenn, you would
probably they do it in character and just pretend to be the dogs and get away with it. Like,
I feel sorry. I feel sorry for Bill Burr. He's just directed a new movie, first one he's ever directed, and he's not allowed to talk about it.
Oh God! Yeah,
he's popping up on podcasts, and he refuses to utter a word about it. But
so, did he write and direct it?
Yep.
Well, yeah, technically, he could talk about it as a director.
He's a union man.
That's the workaround.
Sign off.
How's Sarah Silverman coming out and bemoaning independent productions? And I got offered an indie movie and I've refused it because we've got a solidarity, stay strong.
No.
And listen, I'm like, fuck off. You haven't done a mainstream movie since 2018, and that was voicing, a character in an animated sequel to a better film.
But also, indie film is the antithesis of the Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Yeah, makes no sense.
I know. I'm just like, come on. We need this to happen. We need indie productions. We need these movies to go back into theaters and fill that void where the mainstream movies went. No, I've had enough. I had a massive crush on her back in the day, and I think she was hilarious. But in the last few years, I feel like she's completely outspoken about anything because she just wants to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And it's really disappointing because she was a really funny comic. But yeah, lately I just feel like she's trying to get a name in the headlines, which is a damn shame.
Ben, what were you saying before I cut you off?
Me or Ben? Oh, Ben.
Of that group of trailers, when Strays first kind of dropped at the cinema, I think there was that what was that? The Indian Bride movie where they're all martial artists.
Yes, you went and saw that, didn't you?
Yeah, Polite Society.
Polite Society. There was a couple of other films that I was super excited to say this is the last one of that batch.
Yeah, you're right. I think we were all at that screening, whatever movie that was, a Universal release. It was probably the last time I left the house that wasn't for Queensland. Last time I went to a screening.
That's right. But you were up in the nosebleed section. That's right.
Yeah, I had a beautiful view. You guys were in the IMAX seats down there.
Oh, shit. Funny.
Anyway, gentlemen, that's all the news and all the releases that are coming out this week. I hope to bring you some good news next week.
Awesome. All right, mate. See you then.
Take care.